Hi everybody, thanks for joining me today. My name is Angie and I'm here to share with you my journey of healing from breast cancer to good health. And I'm doing that because I believe that the incidence of cancer seems to be growing. More and more people seem to be getting cancer. 1 in 8 women gets breast cancer. And what I'm noticing is that it seems to be younger and younger women who are being diagnosed. And you have to ask yourselves, why is that? What's going on? What is it in our world that's contributing to all of this? For me, I know it was stress, and I know a lot of us live very stressful lives, busy, stressful lives, and that was a big part of it for me, along with poor nutrition. And so the reason that I've decided to share my journey with you is because I think maybe it can help other people to heal. And I have a feeling that there's a lot of you out there that kind of in the back of your mind think to yourselves, well, if I ever got cancer, I would heal naturally. And I know that that was something that I really had in the back of my mind too, because of the experiences that I had 13 years ago when my youngest child at the age of 6 was diagnosed with cancer. And although we followed all of the medical recommendations and such, we were able to resolve that cancer before he had to have surgery, which was next on the list, actually. We found out that his tumor was resolved and gone the Friday before we were supposed to go to Hamilton for his surgery. He was going to Hamilton to see pediatric surgeons, and because they didn't feel comfortable doing it here because he was so young. So I learned a lot from that experience that I translated to my own experience healing from cancer. And I've shared with you before that I wasn't all in for natural healing at first, but because of some of the changes that I made to my lifestyle and diet, I found that the tumor wasn't growing as much anymore, and so it seemed like maybe natural healing would be for me. So what I want to share with you now is just kind of what led up to that in terms of the medical procedures that I had. Because if you are thinking that if you ever had breast cancer, you might just choose to heal naturally, I'd like to share my experience with you so that you can make informed choices. And keeping in mind that this is in no way medical advice, this is just my story of healing that I'm sharing with you. I always encourage everyone to do their own research and make their own decisions based on the research that they've done. So that's where it's at for me. But in last June, I found this lump in my left breast, and from there, I went for an ultrasound and a mammogram, got the call that yes, it's cancer, and we need to do biopsies. And so with my son and his cancer, he never needed biopsies. It wasn't something that I actually researched much. My only knowledge about biopsies was what I learned from watching medical shows on TV. So I thought it would just be this little needle, they would go in and they would take out a little something, and then that would be the extent of it. But that wasn't my experience at all, actually. What they do when you go in for a biopsy is they have this thing, it's like this, it sounded like a major industrial staple gun is what it sounded like, and they make choo, 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 all these incisions in your breast, and then again also under your arm, choo, 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 and they take out tissue that way, and they test it that way. Well, prior to my biopsy, I wasn't well. I wasn't feeling well. I didn't have a lot of energy. I told you before in previous videos that my energy was gone. My legs weren't working right. I just wasn't feeling like I had the same strength. But I'll tell you, after I had the biopsy, boy, did I ever get sick. That was when I really, really got sick. So I think that what it did is it completely, it's a shock to the system that I wasn't prepared for, which is why I'm sharing with you what I experienced so that you could at least be prepared for it. And so yeah, I think it was such a shock to the system that my already really compromised immune system crashed as low as it could go. After my biopsy, I couldn't even walk around the block. I couldn't walk up the stairs. I couldn't lift my arms. My left arm, where they did it after the biopsy, I had to wash my hair like this because I couldn't even lift my arm up. So this is stuff you need to know. And when I told people what I was experiencing with the biopsy at the cancer center, they're like, well, we've never heard of that before. But they did nerve damage is what happened. And so I'm still recovering from that. I had numbness in my hand, my arm. So I just like to let people know what to expect after the biopsy, because I just think it's really important that you have that understanding. My son just walked in the house, so I'm a little distracted. Wasn't expecting him. Hi, Ryan. Anyway, back to this. So yeah, the biopsy, what it did is it sent my body into a bit of shock, and I wasn't prepared for it. And so I'm just letting you know, because I think it's really important that if you do decide to have a biopsy, that you understand what it does to your body. And yeah, there wasn't a lot of help or information about it either. It's basically just, here you go, have a biopsy, and nobody really filled me in on what to expect or anything. So that was my experience with that. So in hindsight, knowing that, if I ever was to go through this again, I would never get the biopsies, especially the one in the ancilla. I think it's called the ancilla. My pronunciation of some of the names might be off, but it's an ancilla, I think, or axilla, something like that. And in the armpit, in the lymph nodes, it's the lymph nodes, because there's cancer in my lymph nodes too. And although I think it's almost gone, because I'm feeling so good that I think everything's getting smaller and going away, which is such a relief. But yeah, so I just want you to know what to expect with a biopsy. It does really, really hit your body in a way that I wasn't prepared for. So at least this way you might be prepared for that. So after I had the biopsy and I was feeling super weak, that was when I started making, well, prior to that, I had already started making a lot of changes in my life. And so now I want to start sharing with you protocol, because I know there's a lot of you out there that are interested in what I'm doing. And so, of course, eliminating sugar was the first thing. Get rid of sugar in your life, because sugar feeds cancer. So I eliminated, and there's a lot of sugar and carbs for those of you that aren't aware of that. So I was eating a lot of carbs, a lot of white processed type of carbs too, which weren't good for me. So I eliminated all of that. I still have some carbs occasionally. I'll have like whole grain bread, or some brown rice, that sort of thing. But not a lot. Every now and then I'll have a little bit of spaghetti, because I love it. It's been so hard not to have spaghetti. And I don't do the whole grain or the whole wheat spaghetti or the rice spaghetti. I'm gonna have to switch over, but I haven't done that yet, because it's so rare that I actually have it. And the juicing of vegetables was really big for me too. So major juicing of vegetables. And I eliminated a lot of fruits. A lot of people really like fruit, and that's fine. For me, I decided to eliminate the fruit, except for berries. I eat a lot of berries, blueberries, raspberries, not strawberries, because they're full of pesticides. I'm hoping to get out this year and pick some fresh ones that are pesticide free. Pomegranates, seeds I love. Blackberries. So berries, really good, really high antioxidants, super good for cancer. And I eat green apples. So the peel of a green apple has been shown in rats to actually reduce the size of tumors. I don't know if that's been done in people, but so green apples, I'll have lots of oranges and some bananas, but other than that, grapes occasionally, pineapple occasionally. Other than that though, I've really reduced my fruit intake, which used to be quite a bit higher. The thing I really want to talk to you today is about a diet called the Budwig Diet. Now, 13 years ago, I did the Budwig Diet with my 6-year-old, and so that was one of the first things that I reintroduced to myself when I found out that I had cancer. So, Budwig Diet is based on the research and work of Dr. Joanna Budwig. She was a German biochemist. I say was, she might still be alive, but I think not. But she was a biochemist and a physician, and she worked in Germany back in the 50s, and she was very smart, and she knew that we needed healthy oils like flax oil in our body to help against cancer. And she also knew that cancer cannot thrive in a well oxygenated environment. So if our cells are well oxygenated, the healthy cells love it. Cancer cells can't thrive in a well-oxygenated environment. So she wanted to do something to get oxygen into the cancer cells so that it would kill them. Apoptosis, I think it's called, when the cancer cells die off. So flax oil is a super awesome, healthy oil, really high in omega omega-3 fatty acids or something like that. And it's also really good for I have estrogen driven breast cancer. It helps to balance that out. So the thing with the flax oil though is it's negatively charged, and if we were just to take the flax oil in our body, it goes through a negatively charged environment, so it doesn't get where it needs to go. So Dr. Budwig was really brilliant, and she realized that if she introduced a positively charged healthy protein combined with the negative charged flax oil, that would get to where it needs to go. So what Dr. Budwig recommended was a combination of quark and flax oil. So 13 years ago, I had never heard of quark. I didn't know what quark was. So I was busy phoning around because I heard also that if you couldn't get quark, you could use organic cottage cheese. So what I spent some time doing was calling around in Thunder Bay, where I'm from, looking for organic cottage cheese. And I phoned all kinds of different places, and I ended up phoning the Thunder Oak Cheese Farm, and I said, I'm looking for organic cottage cheese. Do you have any? And they said, no, we don't, but we have quark. And I'm like, whoa, bingo, what? You have quark? I had never heard of it before. But that's when I started buying my quark, and I started buying it from Thunder Oak Cheese Farm, and they still make it. And this is what it looks like. It just comes in a tub, and I'm almost done. I'm going to pick up some more from the market on Wednesday. But this is what I use every day. Quark from Thunder Oak Cheese Farm, and flax oil, organic flax oil that you can get from Tim's or from Kelly's, or I don't know, I think the Superstore even has it. Like, you can get this in a number of different places. They're relatively the same price anywhere you buy it. So what you do is you combine the two, and that creates what we need to give ourselves the oxygen that we need to keep our healthy cells healthy and to eliminate the cancer cells, because they can't live in a healthy oxygenated environment. So I just wanted to share with you my recipe for quark. I call it quark. It's the Budwig Diet. I just refer to it as quark. So when my family hears me say I'm making my quark, they know that I'm making my my medicine, is really what I look at it as. So I use 4 tablespoons of quark to 3 tablespoons of flax oil. You can vary that. You emulsify it like you're making like almost a dressing. So I use an electric, it's like an electric whisk that goes, and it just kind of combines it all together really nicely. So in my quark, I also add, let's see, what else do I add? I add turkey tail mushrooms. So I have powder, mushroom powder, turkey tail mushroom powder that I add in, a couple of teaspoons of that. I add in some nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is really, really good for us. It's high in vitamin B12, which we don't always get from other things. So I use some nutritional yeast. I also put in some whey powder, protein powder. We need protein to heal our bodies. I'm a vegetarian, so I really have to be careful to make sure that I get enough protein. So I put a little bit of protein powder into my quark as well. And then I mix it up, and I put in hemp seeds. You can put in chia seeds. I put in blueberries, and it tastes delicious. So, and I put in a little bit of Roots to Harvest granola too, just for a nice crunchy little treat. And that's my breakfast every day. So that's what I make every day for breakfast. And I was doing it twice a day when I first found out that I had cancer. So I would do it in the evening as well. I'm not a very creative cook, so I do the same thing day in and day out with this. You can make all kinds of different concoctions with it. You can make it into a salad dressing even, add some savory spices and turn it into a salad dressing for your salads or your vegetables. You can use it in a number of different ways, but I guess the reason for my video today is just to let you know how amazing quark is. I'm sure that the combination of quark, high dose 10,000 units of vitamin D a day, and Essiac that my son took 13 years ago were what led to his spontaneous remission of cancer. And I know that the quark that I'm taking now, along with all of the other things that I'll be sharing with you as we go along, is one of the reasons why I'm doing so well right now, and where I've come from being very, very sick to now feeling very healthy and really good, actually better than I think I've ever felt. I still have a tumor. I still have, cancer in my lymph nodes, and I have a tumor in my breast, but it's not spreading, it's getting smaller, and I feel like every day I'm healing more and more, and I've never felt so good. So I wanted to share that with you today, so you can call Thunder Oak Cheese Farm and order your quark, go out and get your flax oil. And even if you're not experiencing cancer, I think that this is a really good thing to add into your diet. Dr. Budwig had a lot of success with this diet with her cancer patients back in the 50s. And for people that are really, really sick, you can take this up to like a number of times a day. Like you can eat a lot of it during the day just to really make sure you're oxygenated. I'm starting to bring things down and rein them in a little bit to find what works for me, because going forward, this is going to be a lifetime. This is a lifetime change for me and a lifetime commitment. So I'll be doing this now for the rest of my life. So I'm trying to find a way to make it not so overwhelming that my whole life is consumed with just healing from cancer, because of course you want to have a lot of other fun things happening in your life too, which they can't do while you're sick from cancer. So is why I'm encouraging you to heal yourself and to get better. So this is one of the things that I do every day to heal naturally from cancer, and I wanted to share that with you so that you can start doing it too. And I want to thank everybody. So I've had so many people reach out, and so many people like very interested in what I'm doing, and it's just really been fantastic. So thank you very much. And if you have questions, please send me a message. I'm happy to answer your questions and share the information that I have with you. So on that note, I think I'll say goodbye for today, and I'll be sharing next. Next will be a vlog about cannabis and how I've been using that in my life, and providing you with some information about that. Oh, and one last thing I wanted to mention is in the description of my YouTube channel, I have links to all of this stuff, and I'll be continuing to add links. So when I'm talking about things, if you want to find out more, the links will be in the description of my YouTube channel. So please go there and take a look, and then that you can go even and do a deeper dive. I'm only going to share one link for each thing, and then that'll lead you to whatever else you need to know. So thanks again for watching, and I hope you all have a really great rest of the day. Okay, see you later.